Jimmy Corrine, everybody, let him hear it. Hey, everybody. My name is Mike Pickerel. Some of you might actually recognize me from over there. That's where I was prior to now. You don't have to look, I'm here now. That's where I am. Sorry if I'm a little bit sweaty. I am fat and walk a short distance. So that's just what's happening with me tonight. But I am a recovering addict. There was a time. Thank you.
Yes.
A couple other people that hopefully aren't drinking tonight. All right. No, it's true. I am a recovering addict. There was a time in my life when I was a homeless heroin addict, and now I'm doing comedy in my 30s because I'm still trying to hit bottom. I actually made the decision when I was at the worst in my addiction to convert to veganism because I was worried about my health. It couldn't possibly be the hundreds of dollars of narcotics I was putting in my body each day. It was definitely the cheese. That was the problem. Whenever people find out you're both vegan and a junkie, they have a way bigger problem with the vegan part. Tell someone you're a junkie, you get undeserved sympathy. Tell someone you're a vegan, you get misplaced anger. I used to have actual conversations with people where I'm just I used to shoot up and live behind a dumpster. And they were just oh man, I can't believe you didn't eat bacon. My personal favorite was always, oh, you're vegan, so you think you're better than me. I just stole money from you, so... even when I overdosed, the paramedics were like, whoa, let's hold off on the Narcan and get this guy 10 cc's of a ham sandwich. At which point, of course, I did wake up, not because of the ham sandwich, but because I just had to tell them I'm vegan. I also did a lot of cocaine while I was out there. Because you don't just go from 0 to heroin. There's a few pit stops you make along the way. You can't just break into your parents' heroin cabinet and get messed up with your friends on that 1920s bottle of morphine they have stashed. No, I think after weed, two paths diverge in Scumbag Woods. You either go the cocaine and narcotics route or the mushrooms, acid, and fish concert route. My friends are all trying psychedelics and telling me about these really profound spiritual experiences they were having. So I decided to give them a shot. And at some point between when the world started breathing and the sun rose from the bottom of the ocean, I had the epiphany to know that the meaning of life really isn't any of my business. God's not waiting around heaven to tell all the secrets of the universe to some shaggy-haired, smelly white dude. So I stuck with cocaine. And besides, cocaine spoke to me and it said, hey buddy, how much money you got? It's perfectly normal to know a guy named Magic. You should stay up for 3 days writing a book. Don't get me wrong, no one should do cocaine. Nobody deserves to feel that good for nothing. That sense of accomplishment you get when you finally achieve something you've worked really hard for? That should cost more than $60. My little sister, she's got her master's degree in sociology. The only thing I've ever studied was a spooky-looking van that was parked across the street while I was standing naked, peering through the blinds at 4 in the morning. I've never understood those people that could just occasionally and casually do cocaine. How do you do the drug that makes you feel like Jimi Hendrix, even while you're struggling to tune a guitar, and think, you know what, this is just a sometimes thing I do. Just gonna do this sometimes. For being perfectly honest with you guys, I actually did more crack than powder cocaine while I was out there. It just pairs better with heroin. It's the beer of champagnes is what I'm trying to say. And people often ask me, Mike, what's the main difference between powder cocaine and crack? And I tell them, crack hits you much harder and faster. Plus it'll have you hearing church bells. So you'll be shaking hands with God and he'll be saying to you, hey Mike, you know that idea you had to write that book? Well, the words to that book are hidden on these license plates, so go ahead and start decoding them. Yeah, powder cocaine will make you want to start a business with your friend. Crack will make you burn that business down for the insurance money. Has anyone here actually ever bought coke that's so bad you could bake with it? It's actually cheap. A couple people can relate. It's actually cheaper than buying pastry flour from Jewel. Like sometimes I call up my old dealer just so he can come over and we bake banana bread together. Which is great because now that I'm in recovery, my favorite white powder is sugar. That's my favorite. Wow, I really tanked on that one, but that's okay. Some of you took really a bit too hard to that, but that's okay. I first tried heroin because I wanted to be a great jazz man. And I kept doing heroin because I figured out that's the only way you can actually enjoy jazz. Eventually I stopped doing heroin because I figured out my high school band teacher's the only one that still likes jazz. Also, he stopped selling me heroin. A lot of people are upset now that scientists have said that microplastics are in all our bodies. I'm not that worried about it though, because I've been sorting dope cut with drywall dust for years. This isn't a gut, this is plaster of Paris. That's what this is. I used to huff computer duster. Now every time I sneeze, my keyboard gets clean. All I'm saying is you can't exactly treat your body like a temple when you've been using it as a landfill. That's what I'm trying to say. To give you an idea of just how bad it got when I was in my active addiction, at one point I did actually have a girlfriend, and she broke up with me because of my addiction. Even though she was an alcoholic. And her idea of foreplay is trying to find a corkscrew. Date night consisted of us happening to pass out at the same time. But I did finally manage to quit. It's a weird feeling when you quit drugs and alcohol. It's just weird knowing that like the greatest thing you've accomplished in your life is just not to do something. Like growing up, I wanted to not be a doctor. I've accomplished that. I feel like I should get way more credit. One of the things that helped me quit was rehab. But before you go to rehab, you have to do this thing called detox. Yep. Which is where they take all the illegal drugs and get them out of your system and replace them with the ones that pharmaceutical companies want in there. Now, detox for me was kind of a lot like Muslim heaven. You're surrounded by 72 virgins, but they're all shaking in beds kicking dope. And they actually aren't even really virgins, so, you know. Eventually I went on to rehab. The nice thing about rehab is that everyone there is named Mike. And this one rehab I was in, I roomed with these two guys. One was named Shoeless Mike. The other was named Hippie Mike. Neither of them had shoes. The nice thing about showing up to rehab without a pair of shoes to wear is that there is a very tangible first thing you can do to make your life substantially better. Like step 1, get clean. Step 2, acquire shoes. I'm just being honest when I said that there is some kind of caste system in rehab. Like, I'm just being honest, but yeah, the junkies did used to look down on the coke heads. First off, it's like, yeah, who doesn't like coke? And secondly, junkies are almost always looking down. If you're in there for weed, it just meant you had rich parents. But I was like the weed addict, so they had the best snacks. There's things you can learn in rehab that you cannot learn anywhere else. Like you can learn how to manage your cravings, how to deal with depression, and which cigarettes you can trade for more phone time. I had a counselor in one rehab tell me that, Mike, if you make your bed sloppy, you're going to be sloppy in your recovery. Those words have stuck with me. And I have no idea what they mean. A lot of people, when they first come to the rooms, they discover they have a newfound love of camping. Just a honest fact, but I don't really understand it though, because to me, the best part about getting clean, getting to live indoors again. I will say it is nice now going out into nature and realizing, hey, those gunshots, not for me. At one point, I did try to quit on my own, so I flushed all my drugs down the toilet, only to find out the next day that all the fish in the pond 2 towns over got arrested. I've had to take many drug tests in my life, And you actually pee differently knowing whether or not you can pass or fail a drug test. Like if you know you're going to fail, nearly all of it ends up in the cup. But if you know you could pass, you could bullseye a Cheerio at 40 feet. Start doing trick shots off the mirror, you know. For years I've been trying to figure out how it is I became an addict in the first place. Like I do remember when I was a kid, and I used to pretend mechanical pencils were heroin needles, which as far as I can tell is the only thing mechanical pencils are good for. But if I had to pinpoint one specific memory, it would be that my dad told me that the happiest that he ever was in his life was when he was high on mushrooms. Yeah, he said that to the child he raised in front of the wife he married, to which I replied, "Hey Dad, is it okay if I blow out the candles now? I'm 5. I used to do this thing in my active addiction called speedballs, which is where you combine cocaine and heroin. And now that I'm in recovery and I've switched my addiction to food, the closest I can get to combining an upper and a downer is when I eat a gallon of ice cream after a turkey dinner. I used to have to call a guy and wait outside a gas station for an hour to get my drugs. Now I call Uber Eats and get my gas station pizza delivered to me. That's what I'm trying to say. But you have to do this thing in recovery called making an amends, which is where you not only apologize to the person you've wronged, but you try and change the behavior so you don't do it again. Unless you're feeling really bad, then you can do the behavior again as much as you want. Some people even go so far as to call corporations they used to work for and make amends to them. Never in a million years are you going to catch me calling Whole Foods corporate and being like, "Hey guys, sorry I didn't bake bread that one day, but I was busy doing heroin in your bathroom. And I promise I no longer do heroin in your bathroom." The guy on the other end just like, "Who's this?" I'm just like, "Hey, can I use this as a reference? You're the only person I've talked to today." But no, I first started using hard drugs when I was 17 in 2005. In the halcyon days of when 290 was referred to as Heroin Highway, which personally I think is a much better name than the Eisenhower Expressway. It also explained why there was so much traffic. Rush hour was a whole different thing back then. That's basically what you would do is you would hop on 290 and get off on any number of exits, and there would be dealers there waiting to serve the emerging generation of West Suburban junkies. This was about the time that fentanyl first started making an appearance, but I still trusted my dealers. Because if you can't trust a guy on the street corner yelling Batman, who can you trust? I don't drink now either, and it's hard to date when you don't drink. You know, because most dates take place in bars, and most bars won't serve me whole milk. Oh, you in recovery? No, just a creep. That's me. I'll tell you, the nice thing about being a comic in recovery is that I know when to stop sharing. We all know those people that go well past the timer because they spent the first 3 minutes of their share praising their higher power for helping them find a seat. Like, have you never talked before? Are you not used to having people listen to you? Because this is feeling less like a share, more like a hostage negotiation. We're all in this church basement together. Stop pretending like you want to be here. We have certain sayings in the 12-step rooms that are so simple they almost function as insults. You've all heard the expression KISS, keep it simple, stupid. They should all sound that way. Like, keep coming back, you moron. Fake it till you make it, you idiot. Or just a day at a time, your mom's a whore, you know, stuff like that. In the third step, we're required to turn our will and our lives over to the care of a God as we understood him. And you can pick any God, which is great because there's so many gods to choose from. There's Christ, Buddha, Zeus, the Amish one. Not sure who that is, but I picked the Hulk, so my God could beat up your God. Early on in recovery, so as not to alienate anyone, they actually tell you it could even be a doorknob. Not sure what kind of crazy word association was going on when the 12 steps were first invented, but that is a pretty insane first leap. Like, when I say God, what do you think of? Doorknob. Not sure you should be allowed outdoors. Keep coming back, just don't sit too close to me. That's. There is a big drug problem in our society, and personally, I don't know what to do about it. But do you think that at some point Congress would call Ziploc into a hearing and ask them to stop making those miniature plastic baggies? We all know what those are for. No one out there is just like, hey, I want to store my Legos individually. No one's doing. All right, guys, I've been Mike Pippo. Have a great night.